I'm Eric McLeod.
And I'm Chris Holden.
And you are listening to Low Blow Radio Podcast. It is Wednesday, January 12th.
January.
Yeah, geez, I can say it's December 37th or whatever. If you just keep adding the days and just keep feels like 2020 never ended. But no, we are in 2021. It is January 12th. It's Wednesday. Hey, you know what that means? We're going to be covering AEW Dynamite and giving you our blow by blow here on Low Blow Radio Podcast. This was the second night of the New Year's Smash card. Sort of their kickoff event for the start of the year. We got a little taste of that last week, and this was the end of the New Year's Smash. But a nice sort of 2-night special, I think.
I loved it. I loved the concept on doing it, whether it was just because it's start of the year or because they had so many things brewing that they could build this around. I was thinking about this a while, and in the generalized thing, but a couple weekends ago, just with the proliferation of pay-per-views and the way that WWE turned it into a monthly affair, sometimes twice a month, and then you got them on the calendar, and because they're on the calendar, they're going to be there forevermore every given year, right? And there's sometimes so many pay-per-views will come and go without a reason for it having really been there. There was no good story build. These shows are just there for the sake of having the damn show. And I yearn for the days when Tuesday night in Texas was a huge special show that they had to have because the world title was in jeopardy. We don't know who's going to hold it. We've got to have this match now with Undertaker and Hogan. And so we got this special reason to have a special show. And I'm almost hopeful that was why they decided on giving it this name and giving it the 2-week thing, because they had all these different payoffs to do with matches, despite the fact we've got a pay-per-view coming up in February, right? So they've got now another good month to build to the next things. Maintaining some of this, utilizing a lot of this is just going to add to the stories that we're going to be paid off for at Revolution, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I think anytime you bring up any of these big moments and stuff like that, it's easy to associate it rather than just with a January Dynamite or whatever it is with New Year's Smash. You feel a little bit more special. So no, I think all in that sense, it didn't feel like too over bolstered, like they were trying to give you a big pay-per-view or something like that. Not that we didn't have pay-per-view quality matches, because you certainly had that as well, but no, I think really really good quality Dynamites to kind of start off the year and have them a little bit of a specialer feel before we get into the kind of flow of regular Dynamites again.
Yeah, they felt special. That's the best way, I think.
For sure. And no better special way to kick things off than with Eddie Kingston taking on Pac. Oh my gosh, that video package. I mean, if you weren't already hyped, they are getting these video package things down. That production side of the team at AEW, I don't know if it's or something like that, but they these things are getting you pumped up for sure.
Yeah, they're doing a stellar job with doing the video production promo hype packages, and this was a match that really didn't even need much of that to get you hyped up for, because how can you not be excited about seeing Pac and Kingston going at it now? I mean, these just based on past experiences alone, even if they hadn't been throwing them together in storyline lately, I think it's still an exciting matchup. Great choice to open the show with. If you're not going to do it with the hot tag, do it with a hot as hell singles match like this, right?
No, absolutely. Yeah, I can see with a feud that, again, once they'd shown you the package that had been brewing for quite a bit or whichever, and now we're finally getting to it again with circumstances and everything else being what they were with these matches being pushed a few extra weeks. This package certainly got the hype back up for this to be quite the opener. And man, it just started off with all cylinders. Kingston hitting the ring, and then Pac right after him, not even waiting for the bell with that missile drop kick straight to the outside. Just all out brawl from Pac early on, where you weren't used to seeing Kingston take that much offense and stuff like that. So that was really an interesting way for the match to play out. I like when it's a big rivalry, blood feud type thing like this that starts off very aggressive like that. But I don't want a rest holder lockups right away, right? You got to start off hot.
Yep, and the passion and intensity that both these guys bring to matches at the best of times, like individually, when they clash up against each other, like it adds all the elements add together. It was just such a good, the action packed bout. So both guys doing what they both do best, I thought. Like
solid back and forth from both guys, just enough sort of the brawling outside stuff and interference, not necessarily interference, but workings with the Butcher and the Blade guys and the Phoenix and Pentagon and the Bunny and stuff like that. So a good incorporation of the other people involved in this story, as well as focusing on the intensity of Pac and then the back and forth between him and Kingston. To solid opener from these guys. Pac really working the kind of arm and shoulder of Kingston at one point. Really, Kingston is just such a salesman in the ring. You never know if he's actually hurt or if he's just putting it on for whatever. And whether it's a mix of both, he certainly realizes what he's in there doing, right? So he's just fantastic at that aspect of it as well. But a great back and forth from these two. The Black Arrow to get the finish from Pac, and then he locked in the Brutalizer afterwards to kind of really lay it into Kingston before everybody kind of hit the ring for a big kind of brawl situation, and we got Lance Archer joining the mix as well. Yeah,
which I suppose he's been in and around the periphery of this feud for the last several weeks now, right? So makes sense that he would join in. Seemed like he ended up with a little bit more hostility towards Pac than maybe he's had in other weeks. But
that it's maybe one of those, now they'll feud just to sort of squash the beef kind of deal to move forward, or what the kind of progression was. I thought it was a little clunky in that sense that they weren't necessarily outnumbered, so there really wasn't a reason to add Lance to the mix. Like the three of them definitely could have taken Butcher and Blade, but I get he's definitely been incorporated in this story, and clunkiness aside, it made sense for him to come out and still be associates, whether it's them as an unlikely tag team at first or feuding with each other. They're certainly going to be moving forward in some capacity.
I expect to see three-way matches, to be honest. I expect we'll see Kingston versus Pac versus Lance Archer in triangle style matches for a while at least, or variations where he tags with one or the other, like the Murder Hawk with Kingston or the Murder Hawk with Pac one week, so there's a bunch of ways they can mix up three guys, especially when they've got four other guys right on the edge of it too. So
very true.
Where'd we go to after this?
We had Chuck Taylor and Miro next.
That's right.
Just rolling straight into match.
The Young Boy match.
Yes, the Young Boy match that was built from last year. This has been building for quite a few weeks now between Miro and the Best Friends. This was the sort of furthering of that, as Miro had injured Trent in the match, or at some point during this feud, Trent had become injured. Chuck just kind of fed up with all this kind of stuff and wanting to have this match with Miro, and then Miro adding the stipulation that if you lose, you become my young boy or butler, whichever term they're going forward with. But a good, again, solid match between these two, and a really hot kickoff too, with Chuck not putting up with any of Miro's shit really early on, which you haven't seen from most of Miro's matches lately. And then it kind of, once he lit that fire under Miro's ass, he took quite a beating.
I thought Miro, this was kind of, we alluded to it earlier, wanted to see something with Miro tonight in a good match, and I thought this was a good match. I thought they put on a good show. It didn't seem, I guess in retrospect, looking at the entire card, is kind of fillery, but it didn't feel like that watching it. It felt like it was a deserved part of the show. That's the best compliment I can give it, I think. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I've been underwhelmed by this storyline. It has just felt like something to fill time in between getting to the wedding and Miro's debut, and something for the Best Friends to keep them going as well.
But I mean, if you're gonna keep Miro busy with people, they're people who have been very popular on the show and utilized quite a bit, so I think that's good other talent to keep Miro working with. So I think that has been, the chemistry's been there, at least for me. I'm enjoying seeing them together, as much as it does maybe feel like not the most exciting thing on the card. It's at least something that's keeping them busy.
This was a better match this week than we've seen Miro in. I thought it was whether it be the chemistry or just something about maybe he's realized that he's been underwhelming so far, that this lived up to Miro's here. Miro's tough. He's good. And Taylor and Trent both work well. I think it was any other real reason for why you'd put them with the Best Friends. Well, SCU are busy, and we need you to have guys of that caliber to be in the ring against right now, just to get you back up and running.
For sure.
Back to doing a bit longer matches, telling the story in the ring that he hadn't gotten to do. I mean, Miro didn't get a lot of time off from wrestling, but he's wrestling with the WWE. It's a whole different style of match on Raw than what we see on Dynamite.
Well, for sure. I mean, Christ, and even his last few months in WWE wasn't necessarily wrestling either, right? So
exactly.
Quite a while before getting back into the swing of things, and maybe we saw that a little bit with him too. Obviously, very excited and overzealous a bit in those early matches, which sort of added to a few maybe botches and weird situations and stuff like that. That you chalk up to just that. You just got to shake off a bit of that ring rust. And no, I think even the Trent match wasn't too bad, but this was even more impressive. As much as I wasn't sure what to expect out of these two, you definitely got. I don't know if it was just the way they booked it and planned it, that the pacing was just a little bit more better to have that Miro taking the beating early and then being able to rile and then just tear house was a little bit nicer to see, rather than him just doing it from the start and then tapering off and then coming back. You just got this big kind of burst of energy and stuff like that. So yeah, maybe it was just the pacing that worked a little bit better.
Something made it work better
for sure. Big game over finish from Miro there, the accolade as it was once called, the Cobra Clutch maneuver there, getting Chuck Taylor to tap, and now he is his young boy Miro, very intense afterwards. Chuck definitely selling the after effects of the game over and being dragged out by his hair and that kind of stuff. That was quite the visual, and you finally get a little bit of emotion out of poor Orange Cassidy. He's got no more friends.
He's selling the stipulation as well as Chuck or Miro.
Yeah,
sad because his buddy's gone and for a month at least, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, for sure. And again, like you say, it doesn't feel like the most important thing on the show, but the guys are committed to the story, and that makes it feel like it means something at least, right?
Well, and everything can't be the most important thing on the show, but I mean, at least I feel like with Miro, it was just a feeling of underwhelming. You wanted to see so much more from this big guy that you felt had been so underutilized.
Yeah.
And in much the same vein that Brody broke through that and was exactly that guy that got to be what he wasn't before, I felt like we've had a month of Miro or so, and he just wasn't getting over that hurdle somehow for some reason. Yeah. I'm not saying it's over with tonight, but tonight was a massive step forward in feeling like, okay, we're on a track now. We're going somewhere.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, all for moving forward here with Miro, and we'll see what the next few weeks play out with Chuck as his butler. I'm sure Chuck is very good at the comedy side as well as wrestling too, and we're going to see quite a bit of
and so's Miro
added to this, and Miro too. Yeah, I think they're going to play well together in this sort of platform. So adding the best friends to the mix with Penelope and Kip leading up to the wedding is I'm all for that. I think to keep these guys busy until then.
I still say Miro's stealing the wife at the wedding day. There's no way she leaves with Kip when Miro's the best man is right there.
Well,
I mean, he's the best man, for God's sake.
And you've been calling it for this long. If you walked away from it now, I'd feel bad. You got to keep saying it until February, and we'll see what happens. You'll either feel like a genius or not. We'll know by then. But we had a little interview package with the Private Party and Matt Hardy, once again putting over that they have joined up with Matt Hardy as their kind of manager, the Hardy brand type deal. Interesting kind of crossover with this story has been playing out more on BTE than it has on television, other than the matches you've seen with the Matt Hardy and the Private Party, the more inner workings of it, I guess, that kind of stuff. But now you're seeing that kind of on TV a little bit last week as well. And furthering here, a bit of tension between the two of them over the cost of doing business, I guess, with money, Matt. But hey, I guess that's what happens. Maybe you
should have read the fine print, boys.
Exactly.
Lesson learned.
We moved on to the Inner Circle, letting us know about their New Year's resolutions as they all hit the ring.
Hager was excitable.
Hager was excited, and he is ready for championships in 2021. That was the only thing on his mind, other than looking handsome. I think he was just very eager to let everyone know that was definitely his resolution as they all hit the ring. Jericho first, after getting over with his entrance, of course, drinking that in, letting everyone know they were going to reveal their resolutions. Hager was looking for championships. What else? I unfortunately don't speak a lot of Spanish, so I don't necessarily know what
Pride and Powerful
was looking to do and that kind of stuff. But I did like the way that MJF was like, I know what he said. Just kind of played it up like, I know exactly what you said. I don't speak Spanish, so.
MJF wants to thicken the bonds that he is making with his blood brothers in the inner circle and grow these links of friendship. And it was beautiful. He's just the obvious takeover stuff. And then that led to, was it Jericho next that talked about the tag teams?
Yes, because we didn't get to hear much from everybody else after Jericho's pipe bomb, where he decided that his New Year's resolution was going to be that him and MJF new tag team champions in 2021.
And this upset Sammy.
Yeah, perfect camera angle of Sammy's just in the background as he says it, and you could zoom in and see the heartbreak on his face, right? Total moment as it happened there. Instantly had to get on the mic and let Jericho know how he felt, because this guy is a tag team slut.
I know. What another T-shirt, another Inner Circle moment, another T-shirt.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho, tag team slut. So, but it's true. He was the sex gods with Sammy. He then he declared it was him and Hager were a team. They were going to rise through the ranks. That didn't last too long, did it?
It's
and
totally
now,
true, yeah.
Him and MJF. And I thought the best part of this is being like, I saw you, what was that called? Dabbing with Snoop. I saw you dabbing with Snoop last week. You going to tag with him? And Jericho goes, maybe. That was great. Priceless.
So good.
Priceless Jericho.
Fantastic with it. Love the way he played it off. The sort of this teenage angst between these guys was just too perfect in that moment. But
it was
the
just
audience chanting it was just the great little moment.
The whole genius of like the last thing Jericho did, what Jericho never did was deny he is a tag team slut.
Yeah, he's like yeah, you're
he
right.
Just kind of like
shit.
Maybe I am a dirty little tag team slut.
Oh my god, yeah. No, it was quite the line, got the pop out of me, and it certainly made this segment as things kind of broke out between all of them. Jericho trying to settle things down, saying, hey, we saw the two big guys kind of settle things last week. Why don't we get that kind of settled between the tag teams here? Because obviously Pride or Santana and Ortiz, Pride and Powerful, were upset, saying that, hey, we were sort of brought in as the big tag team here in the Inner Circle and stuff like that. What do you do? And kind of stepping on our toes and that kind of stuff. And he's like, well, why don't we just have a tag team off? So I'll team with MJF, go against the Ortiz and Santana, and then Sammy's going to tag with Hager, which is now my new favorite tag team because of the name, Sammy Hagar. And
the best part of that was Sammy just staring at him going, what? Why is that funny? Yeah, don't worry about it. That was awesome. That was just great.
Yeah, too perfect. I'm all for the two of them staying together for God knows how long. Because I've not even been that big of a Sammy Guevara fan, but this would make me a Sammy Guevara fan just based on that tag team name. Like, I am all for stupid gimmicks and shit like that. I want to see them all as just always as Sammy Hagar.
It's a shame because
they don't have to dress like 80s rockers or play up that at all. Their name is Sammy Hagar. It's just the funniest and stupidest thing ever.
The only problem is they are the only team guaranteed that will not be winning next week. It's between MJF, Jericho, and Santana and Ortiz, I'm afraid.
Yeah, Sammy's eating that pin.
Yeah.
Sammy's eating that pin, and I'm fine with that. Good for Sammy Hagar. They'll eat all the pins in the world, and I hope they stay together forever. So I really enjoyed the Inner Circle resolutions here, but we moved on. We got a nice little segment with the Dark Order. We haven't heard from them since the Brody Memorial Celebration of Life episode and stuff like that. And like we had kind of predicted when we talked about that show, and people have been saying over the weeks and stuff like that it seemed like you'd turn them face on that night, and then why not kind of keep going with that momentum? And they, Evil Uno kind of leaning into that, saying like everything we do forward is for Brody, and we should start, looking maybe doing better things and stuff like that. And next week, they're looking to, turn the tides and look to bigger and better horizons, teaming once again with Hangman Page as they bring him into the mix.
Yep, and he will give us his official decision next week. Will he join the Dark Order?
Yes, very, very interesting. And yeah, can't wait for that match. We also found out later on that it is Negative One's birthday celebration match and stuff like that. So yeah, all kinds of great implications there. And yeah, I'm very curious to see who it is, or if Hangman decides to finally join the Dark Order or not. We will see.
I say yes. They're not going to disappoint Negative One like that on his birthday.
Exactly. Why not now? Especially after that, you're like, he must want it so bad. Like,
Yeah.
It's happening. You don't want to see John Silver cry. Like,
no,
on.
Nobody wants to see that. No. I love seeing the glimpse of the BTE character tonight on the show.
Yeah.
When he took over the Hangman thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great.
I'm gonna interview you now.
You are just the coolest. Like, yeah, just completely breaking. Just like, he's getting excited. I'm sorry. On a little off tangent, I wish it was an actual like match with these guys, because I got focused on this yesterday when I was watching Dark, and I meant to bring this up with you at a different time, but why not here on the podcast? It's good too. Like, maybe they'll make this a clip or something like that. But have you ever noticed that Alex Reynolds looks almost identical to Roderick Strong? Because now that I see it, I can't fucking unsee it. It's like the long hair. It was if he has it back and like, but when I see him, they look fucking identical to me. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if it's been brought up other places, but now that I've seen it, I can't unsee it. But I don't know if it's gonna happen for you now.
Yeah, no, I'll let you know next Wednesday. I hadn't thought that yet, but do it. Put up the side by side right now.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Okay, here's the middle. Somewhere here in the middle, there'll be a side by side of these two guys. What do you think? To me, I think they look fucking identical. We're in some kind of time warp. Someone's working for both companies.
Maybe they're brothers, cousins.
The has been broken here. Yes, who knows? Or I could be totally wrong, but I could have just been really stoned last night watching Dark, being like, fuck, Roddy looks like fucking Alex Reynolds.
Yeah, like I disavow this until I see it for myself. I'm not behind this until I see it. So don't count me in, because if they look right now like it's two fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger and like fucking Danny DeVito, then it wasn't me that said it. It was you.
Fair enough. Totally fair. I will own up to that one. Moving on. another fantastic video package talking about Darby and Cage, getting you hyped up for the main event as it was coming later on. We were told about that, and then we got to the Elite making their sort of debut as they were promoting here on Dynamite. Kenny's
get the band back together.
The band back together. Kenny teaming up with the Young Bucks once again, hanging out in the back with Don Callis, getting ready to head out, kind of talking about getting ready to maybe do their entrance, because they do have that separate Elite entrance and that kind of stuff that's different from the Young Bucks music and Kenny's music and things like that when they've teamed before. But Don just sort of casually being like, oh, you know what, I love your music, you love your entrance, Kenny, come on, we'll do our thing and you guys do your thing. And Kenny gets ready to do his little walkout, and he does another fantastic, amazing entrance with a great promo once again from ring announcement from Justin Roberts. Gets in the ring. We already have the Danny Limelight waiting with Varsity Blondes there, so this is going to be a bit more of a jobber type match situation. Getting ready for the Young Bucks to come out, and Don Callis jumps on the mic, starts putting over you assume might be the Young Bucks. It sounds a lot like the Young Bucks, Kenny's best friends, the World Tag Team Champions. Yes, but
it wasn't. It was the Good Brothers.
Yes.
Swerved everyone. The invisible hand has pulled string. And I like the shot of the Bucks standing backstage with Khan.
Yeah.
Kind of Khan smiling, shaking his head like, you bastard, you screwed me again. And I thought the interesting, like the telling bit, foreshadowing almost, was when they were standing around the limo and Callis comes over and he said to the Bucks, oh, it's nice to see you guys again. It's like, oh, this is just the first time you're seeing the Bucks, and you've been planning this all this time apparently, but you're just running into them again now. Well, they're not really in on this at all, are they? So yeah, it was foreshadowed well, and then they played it off great. The Good Brothers came out, and we got them as the Elite instead.
Yes, I like, again, just the little elements of Don at play here. If it was like, did Kenny know he was going to do this? Even if he didn't, he's like, Don, he's just so smart. He knew it was much better for me to team with the Good Brothers and stuff tonight. And in hindsight, it did make way more sense with this new heel Kenny. It as soon as they announced it, it seemed like I knew something fishy was in the waters, because unless that was again the story they were going to tell of Kenny, doing a lot more heel stuff, and the Bucks not either being unwilling to participate, or which again, that's obviously the story going forward. Eventually, that we will tell, but I wasn't sure if that was going to be necessarily the point to be telling that. And then once we saw the Good Brothers last week, I even more sort of heat in the water where I'm like, I don't know if we're gonna see the Bucks. And then as soon as Don got on that mic, I was like, oh, the fucking Good Brothers are coming out here, and I can't fucking wait. And then they hit us with it. I love this crossover. The commentators really putting them over, as well as the being disappointed in the moment and that kind of stuff, not burying them by any means, but also more the situation than the wrestlers.
Not burying the talent at all, but Shivani's brilliant line of, they got a pay-per-view this Saturday. We're already dead, I think it's called.
Yes.
That popped me.
That was great. Shivani is amazing. That was too funny. Yeah, really, really enjoyed that. But the Danny Limelight looking really fantastic in this. He's been someone featured on Dark lately. Not signed with AEW yet, but a great kind of showing in here with the Varsity Blondes in this situation where they're obviously not getting the win by any means, but with all the showing against the other team in that in a not a enhancement type match, that kind of situation, for sure. To put all the sort of eyes on this formation of the Elite with the Good Brothers and Kenny, and then in my eyes too, a great way to sort of introduce you to this tag team before you see them on Hard to Kill, as much as they buried the pay-per-view with Tony Schiavone wrecking the name. That's been set up too with Tony's disappointment and Impact and stuff like that. And but no, as fans who you would assume were already watching this show, who were looking forward, again, even if you were new, if you were an Impact fan and you saw the promo and were like, yeah, I'll watch that show this week or whatever, and then you see this matchup and you saw your Good Brother guys and you saw them team with Kenny, or vice versa, you're finally seeing the Good Brothers for the first time out of WWE. If you're not watching Impact, now you got to see them wrestle, and then you might be more intrigued to watch them on Saturday. So I think all around worked very well.
Yeah, definitely. And then the aftermath of it. Oh, sorry, as you're saying with Silverman, I thought he looked great. The highlight and the spotlight was definitely on him for that team. Pillman Jr., I thought, looked fantastic.
Yeah.
He really came out looking good from this match. Garrison's not bad. I think he's got some talent, and he's going to be around for a while, but I think Brian Pillman Jr. is going to be one to watch for like 2-3 years from now. He's going to be really fucking big.
No, for sure. He's solid, and he's getting just better and better each week. A little bit more and more here and there. So
where are we going before I fucking interjected there with that shit?
Just at the end of the match, there was the good.
Oh, the running shit. Yeah.
They had the big beatdown on
the story built up
as everyone piled on him. They were keeping Danny Limelight and Pillman on the outside. Hit a fantastic magic killer, putting Griff away. The Elite walking away with the victory, and then you hear Jon Moxley's music as he comes down to get some comeuppance on these boys after the beatdown from last week.
Yeah, he did the math on his fingers. He added up 3, added up 1. He don't care, so he jumps in there anyway and started taking a beating. The rest of the locker room spill out. They're separating Kenny and the Good Brothers and Moxley into another corner.
It started with Phoenix and Penta coming out first.
I guess they were the first ones, yeah.
And then the locker room started coming out to kind of break everybody off from that. We got a couple of brawls happening on each side as Moxley kept going after Kenny. The Good Brothers were terrorizing the Phoenix and Penta and stuff like that. So a lot going on all over the place. Eventually, this drumming out the Young Bucks to kind of defend Kenny as Moxley kept getting more and more comeuppance on Omega, and Omega just sneakily trying to get away and more and more times. And they were sort of they didn't hit Moxley. They just wanted to settle things down, stop their friend from being hurt, but not, let things kind of further go on. But they were certainly willing to defend themselves in that moment. And then kind of got caught by Phoenix and Penta with a couple of super kicks as well. So lots going on in this moment as well. And then we'll sort of see as that all plays out over the weeks going forward, I think.
Yep, for sure.
Moving on, we had the waiting room making its debut on AEW Dynamite, a segment that's been in the works over, I'd say, like a month or so. Just before Christmas, I think they started doing this on AEW Dark with Britt Baker, more of a throwback sort of
very retro,
conversation thing, kind of Piper's Pit, or the
very much Piper's Pitified, like
yeah,
even more than that than the barbershop. Do you remember Flair for the Gold when they were doing that? There was the segment that oh man, the Botch Master, when Fred Ottman jumped through the door and hit the deck. But that was like Ric Flair's segment with a couch and had a bar there and stuff. It's almost like that style of a set with hers thing. Yeah, and then the camera works even worse and more, and the music's just fucking abysmal. Oh, and so Reba with like she's supposed to be Johnny Carson's sidekick, like with so fucking funny.
Oh yeah. No, the quality is perfect. You get what it's supposed to be, the sort of Carson, or like you said, the other wrestling tropes they've done in this sort of fashion before, but works so great with Britt's character. Again, you could give her a rag out there and she'd be doing $1 million too. I think she's just knows this character, and they use her very well on AEW. I think not always perfect in some stuff. We can get to it a little bit later, but in this segment for sure, this was working fantastic with in this waiting room thing. Just plays in even more to her ego and character and that kind of stuff. Yeah. And the idea of the doctor character having this waiting room was like that. Yeah, I just really enjoyed that, and the annoying assistant, all that kind of stuff.
They bring out Cody Rhodes to a kind of nice welcoming with all these backhanded compliments and hilarious little jabs and insults tossed in.
I'm gonna say one of my biggest laughs of the night was them with the sparklers, and then her going to the camera and she's like, "Yes, we have the contractually obligated pyro. Because Cody will not come out without pyro." That was probably one of the funniest lines of the night from me from Britt Baker there. Just
my favorite one.
Here, yeah.
My favorite one was so he's going to be a daddy this year. Of course, his kid's probably going to have an action figure before me, but that's okay. That's okay.
Who's counting?
I thought pretty good for that.
Yeah, every Rhodes has a figure, but who's counting?
Before Cody got a chance to really get a word in, she introduces her special secret hidden guest of the night, Jade Cargill, who comes out.
Yeah, and looking like $1 million.
Yeah, she looks even fucking bigger and buffer than the last time we saw her.
Yeah, I can say we've seen her just in normal. Well, not normal clothes, but her like dress attire. She's wearing like a dress and like fancier stuff the last few times we've seen her. This looks more like ring gear. We'd seen her in, but man, yeah, she just looks like $1 million. Just fantastic, all around look for her, and the intensity here. She's a little bit of like odd mic positioning, but she's got the talk down. You can tell she was a little bit. She's getting through the awkwardness here in these situations, but yeah, it cuts a little bit of a promo on Cody about not wanting to wait for matches anymore. Her and Shaq are tired of waiting, and she, when Brandy's done with her baby business, she can see her again in 9 months and all that kind of stuff. And then laid a slap in on Cody, demanding, she wants to start getting matches and stuff like that in here, and we get little tiny Britt Baker, aka
Red
Velvet. I should have had her name ready when I made the joke. I'm so sorry about it. But I got her coming in, and then even more slaps. I didn't make the only notes I made for this was the waiting room ... or Jerry Springer, because that was all it kind of turned into by the end. But I mean, the waiting room never has any sort of formula to it. You never know what's going to happen with Britt Baker down there on her show, and it's something else for her to complain about when shit goes crazy. So
and the end of the debacle was they start putting on the big screen her beatdown of Thunder Rosa, where she wiped her makeup off, and she was loving it until it pops up Thunder Rosa's face in fresh makeup, and she's recorded this from her coronavirus quarantine, and she's telling Britt that she likes the show because it's her big nose. She gets to stick it into everybody else's business. But coming up at Beach Bash, she's going to put her nose in Britt's business, and they have a match. Then it finishes the segment with Britt screaming, "Tony, no, you told me I didn't have to fight her. That's why I got to do this tonight. No, Tony, you said Tony." It was great.
And then just they're like, "Oh, yeah, anyways, we're leaving.
Not doing it.
Not happening. Not doing
not
it.
Happening. We're not doing it. Bye.
Not happening. Bye.
Hit the music."
No, I think all for it, all this kind of stuff. Other than just the sort of attacks at their looks, I don't think they need to be doing that. But it's it's catty characters. It is what it is. I feel like everything else is fine. You don't need that part of it, but that's nitpicky at best at this point with this feud. Brett's just doing fantastic stuff, and that'll be a big match coming at Beach Break at the start of February.
Yeah, I mean, I'll admit my biggest trepidation or thing with it was just that she said Shaq's name again. Like, so I guess we're getting more Shaq. I guess we are getting Cody versus Shaq eventually. So just get that the fuck over with.
Yeah. Again, I feel like it maybe wasn't. I feel like the initial intent was always going to maybe be to have Cody and Shaq corner the women and have Brandy.
Quite possibly, yeah.
I feel like that was always the initial idea, and maybe it'll come out that was the story. I feel like that was the case. And then when Brandy got pregnant, they obviously had to shift gears and are having to, change things up to some degree, but they obviously want to have some payoff with the Shaq stuff since they said it. It's not like some other things that you can kind of sweep under the rug and be like, the Nightmare Collective never happened, or what about this kind of stuff we don't talk about? Like, Shaq's the kind of name you drop and have a big segment with that you can't really not have some kind of a payoff with it. So
no, I agree.
Maybe working to some degree there, if it's adding, not that you need more members of the Nightmare family, but if Red Velvet becomes a Nightmare family member and you get Cody in her corner and that kind of stuff, some workings going on there to sort of replace Brandy in this situation. Maybe that's what we'll get going forward. But I'm hoping it's not going to be Cody and Shaq, but who knows? That's maybe just my wishful thinking going forward. Moving on, though, we had the FTR taking on Jurassic Express. Cranked my TV up as soon as Jurassic Express came out because we finally got the Dynamite debut of Jurassic Boys, or
Jungle Boy.
God, so fucking excited about this Jungle Boys new entrance music. Wow, just incredible sounding. As good as I'd heard it before, and fantastic to hear it on Dynamite now. And it's gonna just keep getting better and better the more they get crowds and people more into it. And he has the character down so much now, and the commentators understand it, I feel, to a degree. And he was just the biggest babyface in this match, other than the babyface rub that Marco got from taking all the heat, I think.
Yeah. No, I hope that he doesn't end up so typecast as the Jungle Boy, and now with the music and the gimmick that you get stuck from forever as a mid-card act with it.
Right.
Like, because I feel like, especially with the music now, like he could be the star babyface on a show.
Yeah.
Right. He just, with the right story and the right build and everything, he's definitely got enough talent. I'm not talking about this year. It might not be next year, but down the line he could be. But there've been guys like that before who then proved to be such great, reliable hands. Dolph Ziggler, that you're forever stuck in this role because we can rely on you and count on you to do things we can't count on everybody else to do. So sorry, but you've worked your way into being mid-card for life. So yeah, and again, it's way too early with AEW to say that they will or don't do that or would do that. Yeah, but it hasn't happened yet. And
they have a bit of a track record, at least from the last a little bit now, to know when he, something striking on the iron, they tend to roll with it. The Eddie Kingston stuff and things like that.
For sure, exactly.
Change things on the fly or roll with things when the momentum's there, and I don't think they would necessarily do something like that. But yeah, you never know with a character being so focused like that. I feel like before he was a little bit lost in it, and now they've honed it in a little bit more. But got a really aggressive side once again from the FTR. They were just absolutely laying it into poor little Marco here in this match. You were certainly getting the ragdoll Marco, and nice to see it not just he can do it for big guys, but he selling it in a tag match like this was interesting too. Them trying to use their speed and their that kind of stuff early on, but the FTR very much overpowering in that sense. I get a little bit into the psychology of the idea that once you do get the hot tag, though, in a match like this, where someone does take that beating for so long and all that kind of stuff, why did Jungle Boy ever want to tag his friend back in? Like, you just watched him get beat for 3 minutes straight, and then you tagged in for a second and did one move, and you were like, sweet Marco, right. I can see you later, bud. Yeah. Good luck.
You got this.
Yeah. You're welcome. Like, sometimes you're just like, But like I said, it's a little bit nitpicky. It is what it is, but that's more the outside part of this. But I thought these guys put on a great back and forth.
Yeah, it was a good match, and a surprisingly high placement in the card, considering. So
yeah, I think when you look at the card again, they didn't open with a tag match, and this almost could have been the opener if you had moved Eddie and Pac maybe even to this point, or,
exactly,
or something like that, and yeah, maybe that would have been a shift. I would have been fine with that, but I was okay with the opener we got.
I definitely, what we got with Pac and Eddie was a lot more intense and a lot more passion and more fire than this match was. This match wasn't that story though.
Yeah.
So I would agree with the way they laid out the card. When you look at it in the grand scheme of things, you're like, huh, it's deep in the night for a Jungle Boy Marco Stunt appearance. No, but and against FTR. So, but kudos to them for it because it didn't look out of place. They're great. I love Jungle Boy in the ring, man. I like Luchasaurus a lot too. Yeah. And Marco Stunt does what he does really, really well. Yeah. Right? He's a perfect size and shape for the underdog, the ultimate underdog role. He's the new Mikey Whipwreck times fucking 2. So
and I like that you can tell multiple different stories right now feuding with FTR and Jurassic Express. Like right now you had this match where you have it's Jungle Boy and Marco, and then you can have the Luchasaurus and Marco, or Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, and again a different pairing for a different type of match that you get from FTR. So there's plenty of making it not feel repetitive. So I enjoy that going forward as well.
I think that's another reason why they have so many trio-based units.
Yeah,
because you get that flexibility of the basic teams are against each other. The storyline is furthered, but it's not exactly the same guys week after week after week in the same matches.
Played out. Yeah.
So no, I like that.
No, for sure. And I'm gonna say I hope this is a forever thing, and I didn't just catch it, offhand, but it sounded like Excalibur and the FTR had renamed their finish as the Big Rig instead of what was it before? It was the
Shatter Machine.
Well,
that was the WWE name.
And they had a something Express something. It was something.
It was a Midnight Express homage.
Yeah.
It was the something
Midnight
Express.
Machine? Was it Midnight Machine or something? Yeah, something Express, whatever it was. But he said Big Rig tonight as they hit it, and I was like, hey, if that's going to be the name for it, I'm all for that. It's a nice tribute to Brody going forward from them. In more of a quiet sense from a heel team, but. A nice tribute nonetheless, but hitting the big Shadow Machine, Big Rig, whatever we'll be calling it going forward. But FTR, definitely looking strong. But you can tell there's more matches to be had between Jurassic Express and the FTR.
Yep. Which there needs to be. The tag champs are busy right now with another storyline.
Well, exactly. Yeah, you got to keep everybody busy with other stuff. And again, this doesn't feel like a waste, or they're not just spinning.
Oh, for sure.
To get to their tag titles, it all has their sort of place. And again, as they're sort of working their way back into title contention and stuff since they lost the belts. So
it's another situation. They've done such a brilliant job in setting themselves up this way. Like FTR can go on and have 5-6 matches with Jurassic Express. They could win 5 out of the 6, or even all 6, for example, and they'll win the feud. But Jurassic Express won't look bad. They'll look better for having matches that are at the caliber they are, like tonight's one, with a team like FTR. Yeah. So even on the losing end of 6 matches, they get a rub. FTR don't lose any face and get a bit of a rub because they just went on a however many match winning streak, bolster the record. Right, later in the year, they don't talk about the exactities of it. It's just 6 wins in a row back in January. Yeah. So it's perfect storytelling for both ways, and the setup to have these matchups ready on the card, up and down the card all the time. It's so much forethought goes into this. This isn't just fucking luck.
You don't have to just feel that this isn't pre-planned, and that's what makes you so excited that there is that much passion and commitment put into this storytelling here. So the next matchup we had, the co-main event here, Serena Deeb taking on Taya to defend her NWA Women's World Championship in a really good back and forth, a different style of wrestling match, a little bit more MMA mixed in here, with like the jiu-jitsu judo background of Taya being added to the mix here, as well as from Serena Deeb. But I really enjoyed their kind of back and forth grappling stuff, not usually what you see from the women. I think that was what made it so interesting.
That ground-based wrestling, back and forth, the reversals, counter moves, different NWA style, right? I mean, that's traditional for NWA wrestling, so it's great to see Serena, and that is so JR put over so well that she's a true veteran, wrestled all over the world, was trainer in the WWE system when Tay Conte was there.
I was going to say something I didn't even.
That's what he referenced.
Mentioned it. I was like, of course, they're probably quite familiar with each other. So no, I think that showed. I think for sure in this match. The sort of familiarity with each other and then that comfortableness played out, and I thought they put on a really good back and forth. So
it's Serena's ability to carry a match. Like, she's just so good, because there were the spots that were dubious or where there was some tentativeness. It was Tay, because she is green, she is young, but that's when you put those kids in with people that are fucking true veterans of the industry that know it. This is, I mean, they've got such a great lineup on both sides of both edges. I mean, because again, in where I'm saying that, Tay looked green in certain spots tonight, you could tell who the rookie was, but that's not to put her down. And she put on a great match. It was a really good match. She put on a good show, but it was carried by Serena. But it takes two. It takes both of them to do. They're really like, so Conti needed someone to go against, and this is where the division was upset before, because they had people like Big Swole to put her against. That's not going to help either of the girls. And then they both get exposed as being a little bit not ready. And now it's you've potentially fucked up two people's first couple of years of a career instead of just one, which is where we ended up with Swole, sadly.
Yeah, for sure. It was like Swole and Nyla in the same kind of thing. They were putting her in there with the Joshi girls. That's a different style, and it's something that, again, they hadn't quite got over with the American audience either as well. There was a lot of sort of missteps in the women's division, so they're having to sort of recorrect that now, and this is a really good way of doing that with a solid talent like this. And seeing that her in there and have this real great back and forth, I was all for it. And just being more reminded of how big and good Serena Deeb is. I was all for that. So I don't think we've really seen much of her since the title defense, I think, at the last pay-per-view.
Yeah, no, we've been focusing hearing more from Thunder Rosa, because she was taking on Britt or getting a feud going with Britt. So
so happy to see more of Serena Deeb here. And speaking of Allison Kay, they should sign Allison Kay because she's fucking awesome. So they need more great women here in AEW. But the detox finish from Serena, not her usual finish here, but a nice kind of old school gotch slam, tombstone slam type thing there from Serena Deeb. But a really good back and forth from these two girls. This led into our big main event, the TNT Championship on the line, as Darby Allin defended that title against the FTW champion, Brian Cage. We've got hype packages and stuff like that all night for this. Taz had joined commentary, and this once again started right out of the gate. A lot of these matches were quite, big starts to them tonight. So,
but as you said with the first match tonight, it's fitting because it suits. Like, we've been being sold this match is either 9 months in the making or 27 years in the making, if you Darby's promo last week. So, they've got this intense hatred that they've been building and bubbling in their meetings and battle royals and tag matches, et cetera, et cetera. And here we are finally in a one-on-one, and it's for a belt. So there's a prize on the line. It's two prize fighters. It's two guys that have been built up the card. It's all of the ingredients are there for a big main event match. I was sold on it, and I was getting excited before the bell, and then as it started, like that old feeling of watching wrestling again, which is just fantastic.
No, I'd even forgotten stuff like, as much as this feud had been building, even so much as the stuff with when Taz had first came in and trying to work with Darby and stuff. I'd totally forgotten about that and stuff like that, and first bringing in Brian Cage. I feel like that was what I more associated Taz's appearance in AEW, but I forgot that he had been here before that and stuff like that too. So no, I really enjoyed the sort of addition of all that leading into the big, making this match feel so big, being the big main event that it was. And Darby coming out straight out of the gates, trying to bring it to Cage, landing some drop kicks in the ring, taking him to the outside. And then once Brian got a hold of him, though, he didn't want to let go of poor Darby Allin. He took quite a fucking beating in this match.
Yeah. It's, again, the intensity of these guys. Like, they're just such good fucking workers.
It's just, and that polar opposites. I love that look when you get a huge guy and a little guy, but when they are willing to work together and do this stuff, like, it's just, magic wrestling. I think sometimes where you can get really, really getting Cage over as a monster, being able to ragdoll someone like this, but then the relentlessness of Darby Allin, where he just can take so much and anger this beast to be able to maybe outsmart him in a way, or use his momentum against him eventually in the end. But no, really, really good. a match between these two. I think that spot when he had him in the like the power bomb from inside the ring all the way out to the ring announce table, like
that was awesome.
Fucking ridiculous. I think even just Excalibur saying the like, 10 feet across, 18 feet down, like Jesus Christ, like that's or whatever the math was. It looked scary. They got Darby right. Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like a big crash through a tape. Like, I mean, they're all set spots, but like that looked like a big wrecky spot. Yeah. Cage setting up the staircase to land on. Right, that didn't look as devastating, but still it was good spots. Yeah. They had a great match. Like like you said, put Cage over as the monster and exactly established, if they hadn't already, Darby is your underdog with the fucking biggest heart, a heart bigger than his head. So.
Exactly, and like I said, it worked out for him in the end. And I guess we find out once again AEW are listening to our show, because we said today earlier on our LowBlowRadio radio show, which you can catch on 88.7 The River, local radio at its best. You can we had predicted that yes, Sting should finally, if he's going to interfere tonight, swing that baseball bat. And by golly, did he ever swing that baseball bat?
Do something tonight, Sting, other than just make it snow. And he did. He prevented Ricky Starks from fucking everything up for Darby, and
Ricky Starks and Hawk were interfering a bit on the outside. They were there the whole kind of match, kind of getting in the way a little bit here and there, but finally.
But I thought it was interesting that Sting made it seem it almost seemed to be made clear that while he was going to stop Ricky Starks from interfering, he wasn't going to stop Brian Cage from winning if he was going to win.
Yeah,
like he wasn't going to interfere in the match. He wasn't there to. Exactly.
It was just about making it a fair play. And like we had said earlier on the other show, it was just about seeing that other thing at play, like and seeing him do something, not making everyone afraid of snow. And again, if it is just now letting you know what his actions do mean, if it is what everyone had predicted, that he's here to sort of be the balance for when things start to sway too much one way or the other. But now to finally see it just sort of fully cements that fact. So we got Sting coming out, not necessarily helping Darby, but helping to even the odds. Darby being able to use that and stuff like that to use Brian Cage's momentum against him from the second rope, getting a crucifix pin. And that doesn't take anything away from Brian to sort of caught up in the moment type of pinning situation. And Darby rolls out after taking an absolute beating, but still is your TNT champion. And we got to see Sting swing his baseball bat, and Ricky Starks sold it like $1 million fucking bucks. That was even more better when you were looking back at the stage and you see the guy who just put on this crazy match, like Brian Cage, and he's like basically fine, like on the outside, and Ricky Starks is just
checking on Ricky. You okay, little buddy?
Still absolutely dead. They have to drag him out basically at the very end. And like, that guy is a fucking superstar. Like, Starks is amazing. So.
Yeah, he's another one that this will be or should be a breakout year for him.
Yeah, no,
like he just needs the mic time and the light on him and the camera on him, and he's made of money, dude.
Yeah, and I think like you had said earlier too, like his interference in this match and stuff like that obviously leads to the potential match between him and Darby next going forward. That's obviously a feud that we've seen previously, but I'm all for seeing more of. They put on great matches,
and now it's for the belt.
So, and now, it has even more stakes. So that's all. Yeah, when it has stakes, it means even more, and it gets you more into these matches. So, a great way to end New Year's Smash Night 2. We're going to be moving into some more sort of regular Dynamites next week. But any final thoughts?
My projection with the Sting is that he's going to come out at some point in the next, I'm going to say month, because I think it makes sense. It's got to be soonish, but not too soon. Not next week, maybe not the week after. He will come to tip the balance of scales and tip it for the heels. Like, he's going to come in a situation where the bad guys are outnumbered, and he's going to come in and make it like, no, I don't just even the odds that way. I even the odds no matter what.
Yeah.
I'm everybody's.
He comes out and it's not white face paint Sting. It's not red face paint Sting. It's orange. And that's how you know what side he's on. Depends what color he's painted his face. He can be purple with the Dark Order. He's orange with Taz. He's blue and he's with Cody. You never know what kind of colored Sting.
Oh, American flag when he's with Cody.
Oh, of course. Yeah, he's Surfer Sting when he's with Cody.
Surfer Sting. He's done that before.
Yeah. So, who knows what we'll get, but I'm all for seeing more Sting, as always, here in AEW. But I think that about wraps things up for the blow by blow here of New Year's Eve Smash. But you want to let everyone know where they can hear us, Chris?
You can hear us every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock on 88.7 The River. Local radio at its best. We do our weekly wrestling show, Low Blow Radio. This podcast edition is available in podcast format from sounder.com and all the other, nearly said the other S one, sounder.com and all the other podcasty platforms that they broadcast it out to.
Absolutely. And you can catch it on YouTube as well. Thank you for watching here. You can subscribe to the channel to catch all the new videos. You can hit the little like button, to let us know that you enjoyed this video. Helps our channel grow. Hit the little bell button. It notifies you when new videos come up. And you can get into the comments and let us know what you thought of New Year's Eve Smash Night 2. But we'll be back next week to do more blow by blows and more stuff here on Low Blow Radio Podcast next week.
Same river. I thought you wanted me to wrap it with the...
I know. I'm so caught up in all our other rivers.
What show are we doing?
I can't remember what my send-off is on this anymore. I had it so down pat before, and now I'm all thrown off. Oh my gosh. But anyways, I think we will talk to you all next time here on Low Blow Radio Podcast.
Adios, amigos.